A bunch of you were asking about the minerals that we give out to our horses, so I'm going to show you what we do and how we serve it out. My brother is the one that mixes up the minerals because we give it to our cows and our chickens too. So I asked him what the proportions are, and basically we don't have a scientific mixture that is the best amounts for your animal or something. We basically just mix what we have on hand, a little bit more of the cheaper stuff and a little less of the more expensive stuff, and obviously we're not overdosing our animals on anything, and they're not going to overdose themselves either because we're giving it to them for free choice. We're not forcing it in their food or anything. But he mixes 2 buckets like these at a time and starts off with like 3/4 of just salt. I believe we have 2 different types of salts, but that's one of them. And then we have our magnesium sulfate right here. Then we have our sodium bicarbonate right here, and then kelp. So he starts off with filling the buckets up 3/4 of the way with salt. Then he'll add some kelp and some of the magnesium sulfate and the sodium bicarbonate. And then he'll add a small amount of trace minerals and DE. Trace minerals are just a mixture of like zinc, copper, and other helpful minerals just mixed together, and you can Google them and see what's all inside of trace minerals. We get all of the ingredients of the minerals in large bags like these, and we just order them from our local Ace Hardware. But it's a lot cheaper to buy them in bulk and separately and do your own mixture than it is to buy pre-made supplements, and you also don't know exactly what are in said supplements. I just think it's a good idea to mix them in yourself so you know exactly what's inside of them, and I also think it's safer to not try to sneak supplements into your horse's feed and let them choose to eat the minerals, because you only want them to eat it if they're lacking it. If you sneak supplements in their feed, they're still going to eat their feed even if the supplement isn't settling well at their gut, because it's their only thing they have to eat. So they might really mess up their gut. Unlike if you give the minerals to them for free choice, then they'll only eat them if they feel like they are lacking them. You might see your horse occasionally like digging in clay and licking the clay if they are searching for minerals, and this is something that wild horses do too. They dig in clay and they lick the clay because there's minerals in clay. And another thing that wild horses eat is tree bark, and this is really good for horses because it's got a lot of minerals in it, and it's also really good for their teeth because it's kind of hard and it'll help their teeth from crowning. So how I serve this out, I'll just get a scoop, something like that. And I don't normally feed out the minerals when it's precipitating, whatever, because it'll get buried in snow right away, and I don't like putting it in their shelter because when they go in their shelter, they're usually bored and they like to flip the bucket around and stuff. So I just leave the bucket out here, empty up the snow, and fill it up. What's this one, minerals? Minerals? Like that. Is that good? And this isn't something that you should expect your horse to gobble down, and should not be concerned if they don't eat it all right away. Minerals should be something that they should always have access to, but shouldn't be forced to eat. It should always be an option to them, and they should always be able to find it, but they shouldn't be forced to eat it, because just like anything, too high of a dose could not be great. But also, do your own research. Don't take my word for it. Don't just watch somebody on TikTok and call that your research. As horse owners, it's our job to make sure that we're doing the best we can, and to be very confident in the supplements and the minerals and the feed that we're feeding our horses. I like to share things on my page that I've known for a while, and I've realized that other people may not know. But I also don't know all the answers to your questions, and I'm not going to pretend like I know everything. And I don't want to be giving out wrong advice just because I want to have the answers. If you ever have a question, you can Google it. And don't just take the first ad that they give you. Look at multiple different websites and different opinions, and ask your question multiple different ways. You can get different results that way. A lot of people are claiming that the frosted grass being bad for horses is a myth and that I made it up, which I didn't. And I always do my research before I make my videos. I always do research before I answer questions to make sure I'm not giving out poor information. And I wish that everybody would fact check themselves before making claims, because I'm not interested in getting into disagreements with people who aren't interested in doing their research. Anyways, I hope that helped, and I hope that your horses stay healthy this season, and I wish you all the best of luck.